I'm Charles Osgood, and this is Sunday. It was St. Valentine's Day. A little late in the game, perhaps, for your marriage partner to be getting to know you, unless, that is, you're part of a very traditional sort of marriage. With Tracy Smith, we'll get to know at least one very happy such couple.
In the search for the perfect mate, you can hit the bars and take your chances.
I know that true love does exist.
Or you can let your family help set you up and marry someone you barely know.
So you met once, and then the next time you saw each other,
wedding night.
Wedding night, yeah.
Later on Sunday morning, the joys and realities of marriage by arrangement.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Getting to Know You is the Rodgers and Hammerstein song from The King and I, all about the first stage of a personal relationship, which in our society is a stage married couples have long since gone beyond, right? Well, not necessarily, and Tracy Smith has the proof.
Somewhere beyond the sea.
Another Saturday night, another dive into the dating pool.
I tend to have a very outgoing personality.
I'm intelligent.
I'm definitely easygoing. I'm genuine.
At New York's World Bar last Saturday night, 8-minute dating. Not so much a magic moment as a quick sales pitch.
I tend to be spontaneous, and that's good. I think I'm good looking.
And I love life. You come here for the whole package. And I am.
And head on to date number 7. Date number 7.
8-minute dating organizer Dave Servini.
You know, back in the day, it was your parents introduced you to people. It was you met people at church, you met people through school. Now you've got to work.
Of course, you probably won't really see your soulmate across a crowded room, but it's a chance many thousands of Americans want to take. University of California visiting professor Robert Epstein.
What we do, in some ways, is crazy because we get very blinded by lust. For one thing, we get very confused between lust and love. So we think that because we have the hots for somebody, we must be in love. And so we get stuck in a situation wherein either after a week, a year, 5 years, we wake up one day and we say, who are you? Or we say, you've changed. The person probably didn't change at all. It's just that our perception has changed.
In Epstein's view, we can learn a lot from an ancient tradition, arranged marriage.
They start out barely loving, if at all, because they don't know each other very well, and then they build something over time.
For much of recorded history, arranged marriage was the rule. Families, and in some cases, feudal lords, decided who would be matched and with whom in what amounted to business deals. It wasn't until the Age of Enlightenment, roughly the 18th century, that the notion of marriage for love is said to have caught on. Some say that the tradition of a father giving a bride away is the last vestige of arranged marriage in this country. Arranged marriage is still practiced worldwide, but is most prevalent in South Asia, including India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Like our Western unions, many arranged marriages are voluntary. But even today, love, at least at first, has nothing to do with it. Consider the case of Kaiser and Shelly Hawk. After putting himself through school and starting a career in the U.S., Kaiser Hawk returned to his native Bangladesh and let it be known that he wouldn't object to being set up for marriage, the old-fashioned way. His mother contacted a family who had a suitable marriage-age daughter, and a meeting was arranged.
My parents asked me what did I think of him, and then I gave them my honest opinion.
Which was?
He's nice, he's very open, very frank, and it was easy for me to talk with him.
Is it fair to say that it was love at first sight?
No.
It was like at first sight for me. You know, it's like is a lot more important in a relationship than love.
Turns out they liked each other enough to go ahead with a wedding. So, after the traditional feasting and prayer, the two strangers were ushered to the marital bed.
So you met once?
Yes.
And then the next time you saw each other?
Wedding night.
Wedding night,
Yes.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it is something else.
Arranged marriages are very, very practical. They're not romantic, but that's the approach.
Reva Seth wrote the book First Comes Marriage after talking to 300 women in arranged marriages and deciding they were onto something.
It just sounds so clinical.
It does, doesn't it? Like, it's not hot and it's not exciting, and it's horrible around Valentine's Day to think, you know, this is the way to approach it, but I think it's a lot better than waiting for a fantasy that's not going to happen. I'm not saying have an arranged marriage. It's really culturally specific. I didn't do it. I don't think I could do it. And I'm not saying it's a better way to go, but it's definitely a model that we need to take a look at and say, what can we take from the way they do things to the way we do things? Because I'm not sure that the way we do things is really working for a lot of us.
In general, you believe that the women you spoke to were genuinely happy.
I believe they were genuinely happy in that they believe they were genuinely happy.
And a 2005 study in the Journal of Counseling and Development found, believe it or not, that there was no difference in satisfaction between people living in India in arranged marriages and those in marriages of choice here in the United States. And while the divorce rate is lower in countries with arranged marriages, it may be due in part to societal and family pressure to stay married.
Is there a danger there that they want it to work so much that they maybe ignore the signs that they shouldn't be in this relationship, especially if their families want it to work too?
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of family and cultural pressure, and often people who do have arranged marriages are less likely to maybe separate or have a divorce.
Newly married couples in arranged marriages frequently know little, if anything, about the person they've just promised to spend their lives with. In the 2008 film, Heaven on Earth, a bride is grasping for details about her new husband at a crucial moment in their honeymoon.
Hobbies.
Psychologist Robert Epstein.
There are many downsides to arranged marriage. First of all, there are many, many such marriages around the world which are either loveless or they're abusive. So it is a gamble for sure in many, many cultures. It is a gamble. I'd have to say in any culture it is a gamble. And we don't want to take that kind of gamble. What we want to do is extract some useful information from what happens in successful arranged marriages. There's a lot of self-disclosure in happy arranged marriages. Also, you know, there's a very, very high level of commitment. That's the #1 factor that's emerged in my research. They're basically saying from the outset, we're going to make this work.
Okay, set the table. Set the table. Kaisan?
The Hawks certainly seem to be making it work. 11 years into an arranged marriage, they're still together. They've become U.S. citizens, settled in Minneapolis, and welcomed a daughter and a son. Their lives are not much different than any other suburban American couple.
In the West, a marriage starts at a hot point, and over the years it simmers down. But in the East, it's the opposite. Marriage starts at a cooling point, and over the years, as you get to know each other, it gets to a boiling point.
In this case, it seems, what began with marriage by arrangement will end with happily ever after.
Has it started off cool and gone up to a boil?
No, you know, I'm still finding out things about her, and, you know, and she's...
So it could get hotter.
Yeah, I think so.